What is up out there with everybody today? Hey, Miss Gina, how you doing, sweetheart? Hope everything's going good out there. Oh man, so I ran across this video a while ago, and I wanted to kind of watch it with everybody and see what everybody's take is on it. See if it's accurate for what's going on in their part of the world. Hey, Deb, how you doing?
Warning for the economy. The economy just got hit with a massive gut punch. In July, the United States economy lost 23,000 jobs. For perspective, economists
What's up,
predicted that the
Mr.
economy would gain
Power Spoke? How you doing, sir?
85,000 jobs. That's a 100,000 job delta right there. It is the third biggest month
Hey,
for job
Casey.
losses since
Zippy the Roach. Damn, that's a hell of a name, huh?
2020. The unemployment rate actually somehow fell to 4.1%. But not just that, the June job market was revised down another 37,000 jobs. Economists are calling these numbers a quote, big kick in the guts because we are actively losing jobs in a stagnant economy. Americans can't get a job, let alone a good paying job. And the jobs that are open and that are hiring right now, you have hundreds and hundreds, sometimes thousands of applicants for one role. Good luck.
My buddy,
Bro, that other one, Jesus Christ, that was a banger, bro. I'm telling you right now. I worked all night, Friday night, till probably about 3 o'clock in the morning. I listened to that thing probably 5 times. I ain't bullshitting. What's up, pimp?
works in Dallas, Texas.
I did not know that. I did not know 16 and 24. I did not know that. But I see he had a reply to it, didn't he?
He works for a bank, and
that kind of, when I heard that, I said, well, no wonder this motherfucker's out here taking up for that shit. He's the same goddamn way. No wonder he don't have a problem with it. Pretty fucking disgusting. And then, I thought about what your pop said. He addressed it. He downplayed the age. And then your pop said something about he knew what the fuck he was doing. And you know what? He's absolutely right. He's doing that shit to try to gain attention for some raggedy ass AI cartoon. Imagine spending days taking up for fucking.
He said to me, Drayton, we have
birds of a
so
feather.
many houses.
Yeah, birds of a feather. Hold on, let me take this down for a second. Oh, I want to see. Oh, why is it so small? Hold on. I thought I had it bigger than that. Maybe I don't. I thought I did. Anyways, yeah, we'll just leave that right there. I thought I had it bigger than that, though. I swear I did. All right, well, I'll fix that anyway. We'll leave that up there.
That we could close in foreclosure that we're not because we don't know what to do. We literally have thousands and thousands and thousands of homes.
Bro, and here's the thing, Redneck. This dude tried to take his fucking money away. And it's like, what are you doing, man? What the fuck are you doing? You know he got all this shit in turmoil. He tried to fuck your livelihood up. And then talking about he's mad because Triple T was dropped some receipts on him, but yet he's gonna put out AI messages and threaten it. Triple T's not gonna take them fucking charges down over some AI messages. Nobody believes what you got to say, bro. You threw all your credibility out the window like a fucking idiot.
We could close on tomorrow. We could foreclose tomorrow. There are some people that haven't made a payment in over a year. He goes, thousands of people haven't made a payment in 6 months. But the bank doesn't know what to do. The bank's like, if we close on all of them, we put the people out, we don't have people to put in the houses. So now we have empty houses. So banks don't know what to do.
And I keep hearing this about this recession we're fixing to go through. And somebody even said that in my comments the other day. He's like, bro, y'all worried about this dumbass shit, and here the fucking world is falling apart. And make a long story short, he's like, we'll whatever you got stocked up, you need to times it by 3. And I was like, dude's pretty right on it. What's up, Smart Mouth? How you doing?
That's how bad it is. Just in the Dallas area. I'm not talking San Antonio, Austin. I'm talking about just the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
You be careful.
Thousands
Smart
of
Mouth, you be careful out there, man.
Homes that are way behind on payment. Payments haven't been made in over a year. And the banks are not foreclosing yet because they simply don't know what to do. They have
and I'm not bullshitting y'all when I tell y'all that they're not moving any fucking freight in here. And we all live on the freight, right? Jacksonville is not the biggest, but one of the biggest commercial shipping places in the United States. We've got super deep water. We bring in one of the biggest or the biggest container ship, and they're simply not bringing anything in. That place, and I've been saying this for 2 or 3 years now, and nobody's paying attention. And what's going to end up happening is the prices are going to spike way up, and there's not going to be enough supply for everybody. So do yourself a favor, man. Stock up. I think me and you was talking about this the other night, Miss Gina. Y'all need to stock up.
So many that they don't have a plan on what to do if all those thousands of houses were empty.
But I will say this, if you do have capital, if this shit happens, what he's talking about right here, it'd be the time to invest in property for sure.
That's how bad it's getting. And this is just the beginning, because sooner or later, you got to get the people out of these houses.
No doubt, Pimp.
And this is going to cause a calamity. And it's just, it's literally a ticking time bomb.
The wise man that doesn't have no fucking bills and all he needs is beer, hey, he's got it going on and he's got it figured out. What's up, British Bulldog? How you doing?
When does it go off? This month? Next month? 6 months from now? I don't know, but I can promise you this is the same situation in Georgia, Tennessee, Florida. Yeah, it's going to get really, really bad.
And I've been noticing that too. Empty homes sitting every fucking way. Not only that, Iran just hit Saudi Arabia's some of their oil fields. They are fixing to try to crash our fucking
your
economy.
home from space.
They can't whoop us militarily, so they're going to try to hit us in different ways. This
satellite Earth Maps tool, you can zoom right down to your exact address in just seconds.
Is some of the most dangerous times we've ever lived through, and people don't even realize it. They're not. People ain't even got their head out of the fucking dirt yet. Until it starts hitting people that you would never expect when they start getting laid off and shit. But by then it's too late, man. By then it's
I worked at Walmart home office in Bentonville, Arkansas for about 9 years as a vendor. And one of the things I learned was, when you see this in a Walmart, this is not good. This is called a restack. And what this means is times are not well in Walmart right now. So what they're doing is they're changing the sizes of the aisles. They're reducing their stock. And people kind of really won't notice it much because they were only moving it like a foot in every area.
So, hey, I'm going to chime in on this because I'm sure that y'all have noticed this too, right? When you go into your local Walmart, and do y'all remember probably, and I'm sure it happened everywhere because it happened in 2 different locations. It's by me. I used to know where everything was in Walmart. Have y'all noticed that they moved everything around? They have put shit in different places, and that's to make you walk by it. And if they can keep you hunting for stuff, you'll pick up and buy shit you don't need because you go to somewhere looking for something, and then you find something that you don't need, but you end up buying it. If you've got the store memorized, you go in and grab exactly what you need and you leave. That is a sales trick that they use.
What this means is
I've been getting
Walmart
sued for the past 4 years waiting on 7 pounds of pay. No shit, no doubt. Fucking goofy fucker over there
is sucking wind. And they're doing this because of the tariffs. When Walmart suffers, the whole country is suffering.
Let me tell you something. Walmart has made the whole country suffer. Walmart has run every mom and pop in different places out of fucking business buying from China and selling it dirt cheap. So you don't have any other choice but to shop at fucking Walmart. Walmart knew exactly what they were doing. But this is going to be the downturn of it right here. This is going to be the downside of Walmart shit.
FYI, the economy is very bad right now, in case you didn't know.
Okay, I've had enough. I'm pissed the So tell me how I can go stand on the White House lawn or wherever I need to stand to tell them that Big Pharma can kiss my ass, along with, I'm sure, a lot of y'all's asses too. So I've been on a medication for 4.5 months. It has done nothing that reaped positive benefits in my life. I get it compounded because Big Pharma. I pay $220 out of pocket to have it delivered quite literally to my front door because the compounded pharmacy is like, 4 hours from my house.
Well, they do that, Gina. So when you go in looking for something, it's not where it normally is. Because like if you're broke, let's be honest, when you're broke, you don't fucking window shop. You go in, you grab exactly what you need, and you leave. Well, if they rearrange shit, they're hoping that you see something that you'll just pick up and buy that normally you wouldn't buy. That's exactly why they do that. It's a sales tactic.
And you mean to tell me that Big Pharma is like, nope, you can't get the medication for 1/4 of what it's going to cost you to now have to get it filled at a motherfucking pharmacy for over $500 a month? Or you mean to tell me that someone I really love and would hate to see something happen to is a type 1 diabetic, and their medication is either number one.
Yeah, they just took our Walmart. They had everything on sale for like fucking 20% or buy one, get one free. I went in there and fucked them up. I hated it, and then everybody bitching here. I was like, well, why do you keep going to fucking Walmart buying shit just because it's a little cheaper? You got to keep these places in business. Don't fucking cry now.
Not on the shelf. Or number 2, their $500 a month premium and insurance doesn't cover the medicine, but they have been for the last 12 months. And this quite literally is a life-saving medication for this person. Or you mean to tell me that the home that I pay $1,200 a month in rent for, that is quite literally under 1,100 square feet, would have sold for $90,000 maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and 2 houses next to me within the last 3 months sold for $190,000? Or that my 3 bags of groceries today would have been $25 in 2020, and it quite literally was just $99 for 3 bags of groceries. Or my 2010 Honda Accord being $55 to fill up, and just, 18 months ago, 2 years ago, it would have been $30. How the is this world set up for any of us to succeed?
$300 on fuel.
And I would almost venture to say, for the area that I live in, I probably make well over what your average person is making, especially for a single income household. And I'm over here struggling. I mean, we got the thrifted dress on, which no tea, no shade, because I love to thrift, but like, I'm just thoroughly pissed off.
Your next breakdown could cost thousands.
Unless you have endurance.
I will never pay for covered car repair.
That's the best.
Just a word from your local pharmacist that a lot of medications are on back order right now. A lot of medications have been recalled.
You like them big girls, pimp. That's why I call you fucking pimp. I know what the fuck you doing. The more beer you drink, the better she looks. The easier it is for you.
So please be patient with your pharmacy. I promise we're trying to work through the situation and are as frustrated as you are.
If you're a working class or middle class American, I truly hope from the bottom of my heart, you are paying attention to what's happening right now. What we are about to experience over the next 3 years and what's been happening since 2020 will never happen again in our living history. And the fact is, most people are paying attention to the wrong thing. They're fighting left and right. And remember, the left and right, the divide is for us, not for them. Billionaires aren't fighting back and forth. Since 1971, we detached from the gold standard. The wealth gap has become absolutely massive. Our productivity has increased and our wages have not kept up. Assets have skyrocketed. The wealthy have gotten wealthier and the working class have moved down to the working poor. And this is about to become much worse. Money does not move down. They make you think that. Money moves up. Money is just energy. It's just vibration. There's no real money in the system. And this is not our grandparents' and parents' economy. When our grandparents and parents were growing up and when they went into the economy, we had a positive debt to income ratio. The same levers that they pulled back then will not work now. The reason why is around the world, we have a global debt crisis. We have overvalued stock markets, and basically everything running through the system is fake. It's just debt. It's just credit.
Hey, listen, and that is what Trump's trying to fucking fight right now. And people don't even understand it. China is trying to fuck us up economically and has been.
So for the last 30 years, money is built on basically 0% interest rates. So a lot of the brokers, companies, and infrastructure you see is built off 0% interest rates. So if everything's built off 0% interest rates and cheap money, and the stock market's valued at 70 trillion, almost 69, 70 trillion, and GDP is 36, there's a lot of fake money and a lot of fake companies that are about to pay the piper.
All right, well, I'm back for some more bullshit and my opinion, and you know, for whoever who wants to hear it. Anyway, it's another rant of mine. But I've been watching a lot of stuff on TikTok and Facebook and whatever, and I've noticed people are getting very angry. Mentally unstable people. This economy is making people do things that they've never been doing before. And it's getting kind of scary. And the anger that I feel sometimes, and just the way I feel, I literally hate everything and everyone sometimes. And I'm just like, I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but holy shit, man. You know, if you're not a millionaire or a billionaire, you really don't mean shit in this world right now. I gotta be honest. Those rich are the only people who they really care about right now. So I hope you guys all know that. And if you don't know that, anyway, you know where I'm going with that. But you're going to see a lot of up shit going on here. The anger's coming out, people.
Yeah, no doubt.
And it's only going to get...
A lot of people don't make no more money now than they did back then, man. Like, that's one of the reasons why I quit hanging sheetrock, that, and because you had to have somebody to help you, and everybody was all fucked up, strung out.
Get worse. These people need to figure this out. We need to figure something out as the people. There's a lot of us on here, and there's a lot of people in the world. We need to figure out how to fix this situation that we're in, because we are all in big trouble.
Hey, y'all. I debated on whether or not I was going to make this video, but I'm going to go ahead because at some point you have to draw a line. So I got hired at a bank. I'm not going to name the bank. Because the people that work at that branch are very, very friendly. But while I was sitting there this morning doing my onboarding, there was a lady come in and wanted to withdraw $5,000 from her account. And she said, I'm going to buy a car. You know, I need to get $5,000 on my checking. She's buying a used car. And, you know, so she's doing what any of us would do if we were buying a used car. You know, you get your $5,000, make your down payment, whatever. Or, you know, because not everybody has checks anymore. Most people use debit cards, you know, but I myself still use checks. But when I do a transaction like that, I usually will get cash out and give cash as, you know, here's my down payment. So anyway, she comes in and she says, hey, she says, I need to get $5,000 out of my account. I'm going to get a car. And the clerk looks at her and says, I don't have $5,000 to give you. We'll have to order that and you'll have to come back tomorrow. Now I'm sitting over here doing my onboard and I'm like, what did they just say? So I'm listening. Now I'm like really listening. And she's like, well, I'm trying to get my car and I need my $5,000 for my down payment. And they were like, well, we'll have to order your money and you'll have to come back tomorrow, or you can try another branch. And she said, well, I just left such and such branch. She said they didn't have it either. Y'all, when I tell you that if I walked into my bank and asked for $5,000 and they told me to come back tomorrow, the absolute shitstorm that would happen, I would probably end up in jail. Because I'm about to
close my fucking account.
My daddy's...
Yeah, me too, Deb. I would close my fucking account.
His last name's about to come out. This woman was like, oh, okay. Well, I'll just try another branch. Oh, hell no. No, honey, that ain't the way we're doing this. My money, you have my money, and I come in here needing my money, you're going to give me my money. Because if you don't give me my money, I'm closing every account I have at this bank. I'm closing my loans out. I'm closing everything out. That is my money, and you're going to give it to me. I don't know what's going on with some of these banks, but I'm telling you now, you should test your bank before you deal with them. Because I went into my bank and done that. I went in and asked for $10,000, and they counted me out $10,000. They didn't even ask me what I was using my money for, and I didn't tell them. It was none of their business. So all of you that are all for this cashless society, using your debit card everywhere you go, you better think twice. Because when they control your money, Crystal, they control whether you eat or not, and then they control you.
So if you don't have a job these days, chances are you're not going to find one at all. And here, let me explain this to you so you can understand this. Every resume, every application.
You know what? This is no lie. The call that I ran this morning, I had to go pretty far out of my way. I usually don't go that far. And the man's like, please, I can't get anybody out here and I'm stuck. I said, have you tried? I ain't going to say where because I don't want people to know exactly where I'm at. But I gave him 3 different places. He's like, man, I done called. And I was like, all right, I'm on the way then. And, but it just was kind of funny. Why are these places not having emergency service people on the side road on Sunday? What I do pays extremely well. So I didn't understand that, but whatever.
That you fill out is now looked at by AI. There is no more human beings looking at your resume. And if you are making a resume and it goes into the AI, guess what? You are now pigeonholed, which means that whatever is on that resume, you'll never be able to change it. Because as soon as you change it, you come up as a flagged impersonator, right? Even if you do have the experience. So in order to get around this,
fucking money, the money's not in the accounts. They're not holding on to cash in these banks because they're fixing to go fucking digital. That's what's going on.
You're going to have to open up your own business. You're going to have to work for yourself.
It's not that the money
You're
ain't
going
there.
to have to.
The money ain't on location. The money's in the bank, but it's fixing. They're fixing to take cash away from everybody, and that is going to suck. Even for really bad for people like me because that's normally how I operate.
Bring value in other ways other than giving it to your boss, because at the end of the day, if you are looking for a job and you can't find one, you will never be employable again. And there you have it.
That's crazy though, man.
Whether you are nearsighted, farsighted, or have astigmatism, these brand new smart glasses develop.
While the stock market hit an all-time high today, a report also came out today that 63% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Also today, Polymarket Money posted that U.S. wages and salaries fell to 43% of the gross domestic income. That is the lowest since they started recording the data since 1929. And just 3 days ago, the Spectator Index posted some alarming rising in percentages of cost of the very things that we consume just since January. Let's work through it. Rice, 45%, cotton, 27%, wheat, 25%, and wool, 21%. Rubber's up 20%, and cheese is up 16%. Tea, up 15%, and lumber, up 14%, but yet they tell you that the housing demand is crushed.
Man, the economy's so bad. If you got like $10,000 in your savings right now, that's like having $100K. In terms of if you living frugally and you living below your means, you ain't out trying to blow it because you know you got it. 10K with a job now, you maintain it, that's your savings. Bro, that's like $100K. In terms of importance of how important money is right now. A lot of folks gonna come in and say, no, bro, 100K is really like 10K. No, 10K hold the same value as 100K right now. If you living frugally and you got your own everything, you paying your bills, you got your job or your career, you maintaining. That's a good savings for right now. But you can't lose a job for 2 to 3 months though. You lose a job for 2 to 3 months, you over with. You're going back down to 3K off the rip. So don't try to come in these comments talking about 100K is really 10K, bro. No. I'm talking about the level of importance, and I'm talking about for the average person. I'm not talking about y'all dudes that got a lot of money for real, which is cool. That's good if you got a lot of money. We're talking about the average American, bro. The average American, they got 10K right now. That's like 100K, bro.
Most average Americans don't have $10,000 cash.
Can I just rant like real quick? I promise it's quick. I just need to know why every single coffee shop that I've been to this past like 2 weeks, I'm externing right now, so I don't have my Nespresso luxury at home. So I've been literally trying out new coffee shops within the area, and they're all minimum $8. Like when I was working as a server back in like 2019, I could get a whole ass meal at Chipotle for $8, like with chicken. I just don't understand why that's like the norm now. Like it's heartbreaking. I mean, that's literally like, oh my God, why am I zooming? That's literally like an hour's work after tax.
They have
it's only going to get worse. These people need to figure this out. We need to figure something out as the people. There's a lot of us on here, and there's a lot of people in the world. We need to figure out how to fix this situation that we're in, because we're all in big trouble.
I was working as a server back in like 2019. I could get a whole ass meal at Chipotle for $8 after tax. Like what the?
I think we all need to talk about the growing problem of homelessness and people trying to save money by sleeping in their cars and trucks. And now what we have is a bunch of states making new laws that are unconstitutional, by the way, making it illegal to be homeless, illegal to sleep in your car that you own. Who the do you think you are?
Fuck, they made it illegal to...
And they're all minimum...
They made it illegal to fucking capture rainwater. You would think that they would want you to have a smaller footprint, right? But it's absolutely the other way around. Back when they first come out with solar, you could sell electricity back to the power companies. Now it's not that way. They don't want, God dang, I done backed it up again. They don't want you to do that shit.
And people trying to save money by sleeping in their cars and trucks. And now what we have is a bunch of states making new laws that are unconstitutional, by the way, making it illegal to be homeless. Illegal to sleep.
Dude in my comments was telling me about you can't hardly find seeds to plant or anything like that. I haven't checked into that, but if that's the case, that's all new fucking scary shit. Yeah, it's illegal to collect rainwater, pimp, in some states. It is. Now, because of the water table shortage, our water table is so far down. People are not paying attention, man. They're really not. People are asleep at the fucking wheel right now. And unfortunately, the only time they're going to wake up is going to be too fucking late. And that's usually what happens with people. You have a few people that try to sound some kind of warning alarm, and people just look past it. But yeah, our water tables are extremely low. Our fucking fuel surplus is about completely wiped out because of the shit that's going on with Iran. And it's hard, man. And we're fixing to go through a fucking recession or maybe even a depression. So all this fucking panhandling and shit that's going on, people that panhandle, oh, they're fixing to be fucked up because the people that was helping them ain't going to be able to help them anymore. The people that was helping them are going to be looking to be repaid. People ain't going to have it.
Illegal to sleep in the car or truck that I bought.
It is crazy.
That I own, that I put.
They may be in your area, pimp, and if they are, you better go buy them.
On for just in case that I register all that bull inspection, everything you fucking make me do just to have one vehicle. And now you're going to tell me that I can't rest in my vehicle? You're going to tell me if I'm allowed to be homeless in your country, or I thought it was my country? I don't fucking know. I'm getting really fucking confused over here.
Princess, look out the window. And welcome to Genovia.
That's my kind of house.
Some people are referring to the Department of Defense as the Department of War.
So, shut your ass up.
We can't afford to live. You're not lazy. Show this to your parents when they say they don't believe you that you can't afford to live. The National Low Income Housing Coalition just published their Out of Reach report that shows you exactly how much you would need to make to afford an average 2-bedroom rental. Not even talk about homes, not talking
let
about.
me tell you something. And I didn't even realize what was going on. I was just eating the shit up because we was doing remodeling and traveling. But these big companies and corporations were buying up all these fucking abandoned apartment complexes and shit, and all these commercial properties and rental properties too. And they were paying us really, really well to go in there and fix them up. But at the time, I didn't realize what was going on. I was just, working, making money. But I look back at it now. These motherfuckers was cornering the market on the rent and shit. They don't want to sell these properties. They're not for sale. They want you to pay rent for the rest of your life. That's that. You're going to rent and you'll own nothing and you'll be happy shit.
Buying homes, affording a 2-bedroom rental home, how much you would need to make per hour. In 0 states in the United States of America, can you afford a 2-bedroom rental home on $725? If we take Puerto Rico out of the equation, which is not a U.S. state, it is a territory, 0 states. Can you afford a 2-bedroom rental home on $725, $825, $925, $1025? The minimum amount of money that you would need to make in the cheapest cost of living state in the United States of America is in West Virginia at $19.23 an hour. Meaning that you need to make damn near $20 an hour just to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. In 2026, California surpassed $50 an hour. $50 an hour. In 2025, none of the U.S. states did you need to earn $50 an hour on average to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. California surpassed that in 2026. This is real-time data as of 2026. How much you need to make in every single state in the United States in order to afford a modest 2-bedroom rental home. You need to make at least $20 an hour. So when you make $17 an hour, $16 an hour, $15 an hour, $10 an hour, that is not enough to afford a 2-bedroom rental home.
Can somebody please help me understand? How in the world did we get to where we are right now? I spent in 3 days a total of $200 in fuel. $200. That is just insane. It's insane. I mean, I'm basically working to pay for fuel and bills. That is it. I mean, if I don't put fuel, I can't get to work. And if I don't work, I don't have money. But
that's how it works, so lady.
I mean, who in the world is going to be able to afford? I mean, honestly, we're not living. We are not living right now. We are surviving. I mean, we are in survival mode right now.
That's kind of what I was just thinking too.
I mean, that's $200 that I had to take away.
She got more muscles than most men I know.
Maybe groceries or
1-bedroom apartment.
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
It's insane. I mean, somebody please help me understand. How did we get to this?
How are you making it on one income? I am a 45-year-old mom who got the degree, got the job, got the steady paycheck. My husband finally, for the first time, in all of our years of marriage has a steady job, a steady paycheck, but we still weren't making ends meet. How are you doing it? How are you doing it without a side hustle? Because I legit want to know. Gas, groceries, insurance,
you got to have a side
utilities,
hustle.
everything is up. How are you doing it and doing anything extra without bringing in an extra income? Unless you have some six-figure high-paying job.
And that's you're right too. To that extent, a lot of people want to live above their means, right? They want to try to drive the nice fancy car. They want to have the fucking luxury designer clothes. You can't do that if you haven't worked and made your way. You shouldn't be even thinking about that shit. What's up, little Israel?
As a normal family, how are you making ends meet? Tell me, how are you making it on one income? I am a 45-year-old mom who got the degree, got the job, got the steady paycheck. My husband finally, for the first time in all of
this to a parent, but like I just got a FaceTime with my dad.
Unless how are you making ends meet?
It's hard to explain this to a parent, but like I just got a FaceTime with my dad and I was trying to express to him that like I'm happy and healthy and very blessed. But that doesn't mean I'm not extremely worried and confused about what the future holds. And I feel like these are obviously normal and growing pains. But
Me too.
How are you doing? How are family? How are you making ends meet?
It's hard to explain this to a parent, but like I just got a FaceTime with my dad and I was trying to express to him that like I'm happy and healthy and very blessed. But that doesn't mean I'm not extremely worried and confused about what the future holds. And I feel like these are obviously normal like growing pains, but mine aren't growing pains because of like things I'm going through. Mine are growing pains because of the literal circumstances of the society that we live in. And it just feels like, what are we working towards a lot of the times, or pretty much all the time these days, with like AI and, you know, the dating situation where like there are no men out there for any women. So like families are not going to be like, I don't know, I won't get into all that, but like, it just feels like nothing right now. Like the way that our parents grew up and they had this like,
oh, that's over.
You know, future.
That's over. The old days are over. Merle Haggard said it best.
Planned for them as long as they took those steps. Like obviously we just don't have that anymore. And I don't know. Sometimes I get off FaceTime and I was like, should I have held back a little? Should I have just said, oh, I'm good? I don't know. It's hard to explain this to a parent, but like I just got a FaceTime with my dad and I was trying to express to him that like I'm happy and healthy and very dating situation where like there are no men out there for any women. So like as I get off FaceTime, I was like, should I have held back a little? Should I have just said, oh, I'm good? I don't know.
Are you still buying heavy and expensive lawnmowers in the AI era? In just 3 minutes, you can quickly clear 100 square meters of weeds. In a single morning, you can finish a whole week's worth of gardening.
So I just feel like with the price of everything right now, especially the rent prices, I was just looking at this post of a guy who was paying $900. No, I think he was paying like $800 or $900 for a one bedroom in 2019. And that same one bedroom apartment is now $1,700. And I just think that's ridiculous. And I'm trying to figure out what is the end goal here, especially with AI. What is the end goal? Are things just going to keep increasing until people cannot afford anything? Is it going to be time for some sort of uprising, some sort of fight against this? I don't know. Just interesting.
Everything is getting so expensive so quickly, and things that we used to take for granted, the ability to be able to go and buy groceries, whatever we pretty much want, being able to afford rent, being able to afford gas. These things are just going up so much. It's breaking everybody's budget. And people are really starting to think that maybe there's something wrong with them, that maybe, you know, they're not working hard enough, that they're not doing a good enough job to save. But in reality, it's this system that's crumbling right now because everything is going up and we cannot simply keep up anymore with our wages. These people that are talking about their current situation, you know, these are people that maybe wouldn't even want to go online and voice their opinion, but they're using it as an outlet because they're not sure what else to do. They want to connect. They want.
Hey, British Bulldog, they fucking tax every fucking thing, man. Everything. Everything's a scam.
Want to express what is going on in their life. And there are so many people that are struggling around you, around everyone else. And it's just a really crazy time that we're living in here in the United States, worldwide even. I get so many comments. People say, you know, it's not just the United States. It's going on here too, in Europe, in Australia, and just basically all over the world, really. And it just goes to show you how this big global system, what's basically happening right now. But in America, you know, a lot of people are not used to these rising costs, not being able to keep up. You know, the whole notion of the American dream, be able to come here and work hard, make good decisions, make the right decisions, and thrive later in life. That is changing. There's a changing dynamic here that's happening in the US. If you're feeling that right now, and if you get what's going on, go ahead and leave some comments down below. Your thoughts. And I just hope that, you know, for those of you that are watching this video, that you're able to make some change in your life some way, somehow. And if you are struggling, that you can, you know, hopefully get on the other side of that, especially now while there's still time before more things come down the pipeline. Because
to be honest with you, I think it's too late. I don't think there is any more time. I think it's only going to get worse from here. I mean, I may be wrong, but I think it's only going to get worse. Stop renting and buy a house. Yeah, even if it's not up to standard.
Believe it or not, there's going to be a lot more changes that are going to be happening within the next few years as 2030 does approach. But let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. I also have a personal vlog called She Prepares. If you're interested in kind of seeing a little bit more about what my family is doing in the background, basically behind the scenes, to make some changes and get ahead of everything that's coming down our way, go ahead and follow there. I'll put the link down in the description box below, or I'll pin a comment or something, but it's the She Prepares channel. Anyways, thank you again for being here. I appreciate you. I hope you're having a good day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.
YouTube TV is amazing.
I don't know, man. That shit's kind of scary when you start fucking thinking about it. What's sad, man, is like these kids are going to have to foot the bill for all this shit. Shit that they didn't even fucking have nothing to do with. Let's see what's happening with Iran. I'm just out of curiosity because I ain't really been paying attention too fucking tough.
They're hurting in a big way. They want this thing to be over. The question is whether they're able, their system is able to give the things that are necessary for us to be happy, for us to feel like we've gotten what we need out of this particular engagement. That is still to be determined, but I do think that we've made some progress over the last few days.
Vice President Vance confirming negotiations with Iran are making progress in the push to fully reopen Strait of Hormuz.
Iran insisting nothing will be fully open until the United States agrees to its list of highly unlikely demands, including ending the war, withdrawing troops, financial compensation, and removing the naval blockade.
U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee joins us live from Jerusalem to react. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for getting up and joining us. Where do things stand? Let's start with this possible deal at the table. I mean, for many of us watching, it seems like we've been here before and it doesn't lead to success. Where do you have an inside track?
Well, I do to a degree, but a lot of the information is classified that cannot be discussed. So I'm going to refer you and defer to you to get the information directly from the White House on the process of the negotiations. But here's what I can tell you. Iran is not seeming to learn what they need to be learning after two different iterations of conflict with the United States and Israel. You know, there's an old saying, the beatings will continue until morale improves. And sometimes I'm wondering, how many beatings will Iran take before they realize it's time to improve not just their morale, but their morality.
Well, obviously we're into this now, and it is an election year, and you're a smart politician, a very successful politician over the years. You do have a problem here domestically because it's not exactly a popular operation. But at this point, it's become very important whether you believe in removing nuclear capability of Iran, or at this point, opening up the Strait of Hormuz.
My bad. I thought I was fucking muted.
Put your political hat on. How do you see things playing out from here?
I think the important thing is to communicate to the American people why this matters to them. I mean, most Americans are thinking this is halfway around the world. What does it have to do with me? Well, it has to do with you in a lot of reasons. First of all, fuel prices are going to be affected by the global energy market. And if the Iranians are able to block the Strait of Hormuz, they change the dynamics of the energy market. That means prices go up. It means alignments change. That's dangerous. But the big reason is because Iran has been threatening us for 47 and a half years, telling us they're going to kill us.
Too smart mouth. A lot of people won't move for work and stuff like that. They just don't feel comfortable, or they're scared to change. Sometimes you just got to, man.
Telling us they can't wait till the moment they get a nuclear weapon so they can use it against the U.S. They already have their proxies moved into 12 Western Hemisphere.
Mike Huckabee fucking dude right here. I do not like him. He's all about Israel. Ain't nothing to do with about America.
Countries. Hezbollah is all over the Western Hemisphere. And if Americans don't understand that the ultimate goal that they have had, and they've said it consistently for all these years, is death to America. They're not kidding. So it's time for us to wake up. President Trump did, thank goodness. And he's the first president that really has acted upon this threat that has been hanging over our heads for all these many years.
Ambassador, I hear what you're saying, and thank you so much for being here with us today and the work that you're doing. You had said how many beatings to essentially get Iran to correct their behavior? Well, I think that's a question a lot of Americans are asking themselves. You look at the efforts against Iran so far. Why hasn't it accomplished that goal? Why hasn't it gotten them to correct their behavior yet?
The big reason, Lisa, is because the Iranian regime really is much more able to absorb the pain. They don't care. They don't care if they kill 60,000 of their own people in the course of just shutting down the protests. They're also a regime that, frankly, doesn't think like a government should think. They're not thinking in terms of their future. This is a government that is based on a radical theological basis, not a geopolitical one. So if anyone understands that they don't just sit down at the negotiating table and say, what would be good for our people?
So
they
will
don't
it
care
ever
what's
work?
good for their people.
So will it ever work?
Well, here's one thing that has happened. The Iranian regime is weaker than it has been in 47 years. The infliction of harm to them and of pain to them is not something that is imagined. Their ability to produce a nuclear weapon has been greatly set back, but their missile capacity, unfortunately, has grown. And in 1 year, they went from being able to deliver a ballistic missile from 2,000 kilometers to over 4,100 kilometers. That puts their capacity to touch any city in most of Europe: London, Paris, Berlin, Rome. All of those cities are now in the just sights of Iran. How long will it be before they can launch one toward the United States? That's why we have to take them seriously, and we cannot ever allow them. And this is where the president has been so incredibly consistent. They'll never have a nuclear weapon. They won't enrich uranium, and they're going to have to stop killing their people and building up an arsenal of ballistic missiles.
Yeah, speaking of missiles, Mr. Ambassador, let me ask you about this. The Pentagon intends to conduct the first test of its space-based Golden Dome program by year's end. What can you tell us about that?
Well, first of all, I think it's a great vision that President Trump has had. He's been talking about the Golden Dome for quite some time. It's going to be different, but yet still in the same basic defensive posture that Israel has had with Iron Dome, David's Sling, the Arrow 3, Many of these are collaborations between the U.S. and Israel.
That is the truth.
The U.S. recognizes that the ultimate long-term futuristic threat that we face is perhaps.
Sometimes, you know, that's my problem with a lot of people when they say, well, I can't work. There ain't no jobs around here. I've traveled all over the fucking country working. Does it suck? You fucking right, it sucks. But sending that money back home, making sure my family's all right, never did. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's what you got to do. And not only that, change is good, man. When you get stuck in the same rut all the time, that's not good, right? Because the same rut leads to the same fucking places.
Perhaps in the types of missiles that I've been running from ever since I've been here. I've been in the shelter more times than I'd like to tell you. I've heard the explosions overhead, but it's a successful program here. 92% of all the incoming ballistic missiles were intercepted.
Why does America even need a Golden Dome? That's the part that I don't fucking get. Why do we even have to worry about that shit? We fuck with so many people, man. Some of this shit has been brought on to us by these goddamn politicians. I hate to say it.
Those that weren't did minimal damage in 6.5 weeks of war.
Yeah, no doubt.
And it's because they realized that somebody is pointing at them. The United States, under President Trump.
There's money out there, man. Even if you can't leave, there's money out there. You just got to find it. You got to think outside the box. You can't do what the average person is doing and make money. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but a friend of mine, disabled, and during the summer months, he was making planners and putting them on Marketplace. And when he did, I'm going to tell you, that's how he got by, and they look great. And he's like, Will, it's so fucking simple. People were eating them up left and right. That's thinking outside the box. He'd build 3 or 4 of them a day and sell them for a couple $100, and people were buying the shit out of them.
Trump is quite smart in recognizing we got folks pointing weapons at us, and they can't wait to use them. We have to be in a defensive posture where they can't be effective in it.
Ambassador Mike Huckabee, always appreciate it. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
We appreciate you. Stay safe, too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube.
That's the one thing that you should never do is say that you can't find something, because it's there. You just gotta work for it, man. I've been the motherfucker that'll pick up aluminum cans off the side of the road. My dad, before he died, when I was a little kid, he'd have us all out there picking up aluminum cans. I've taught all my kids how to scrap metal just because there's money. My daughter right now, hey, she'll haul scrap metal every day of the fucking week when she's not working.
Why juggle multiple warranties? Just one Cinch Home Services warranty covers everything. Kitchen.
Iran is threatening. The United States is hesitating. And the IDF is preparing for the possibility that Israel may have to act alone against Iran. Israel is preparing for the possibility of a unilateral strike against the Islamic Republic. In the Gulf, tensions are rising. The negotiations are close to collapse. And the revolution.
There's no shame in doing whatever you have to do legally to fucking survive. That's when I hear somebody teasing something, like they tried to tease me about changing tires. I just laughed at them. Motherfucker, if you only knew. I wish more people would get into what I'm doing. There's plenty of fucking money in it. It's dangerous as shit. I mean, you take a chance of getting whacked by a car or some fucking dumbass on a cell phone, texting and fucking making YouTube videos going down the road. But there's plenty of money in it. There's no excuse, just not.
Revolutionary Guards have launched a new attack in Hormuz. An Iranian missile hit a ship from the United Arab Emirates as it moved through the strait. Iran has presented 6 conditions and declared that the Hormuz Passage will not open unless the United States corrects its behavior and surrenders. The war with Iran has become a war over the American empire.
They
Trump
want the war.
Stopped the strikes, and then Iran pulled out its list of demands, including what is effectively the surrender of the United States of America. Reports in Iran indicate that Mustafa Khamenei is in critical condition. Iran is threatening Saudi Arabia, saying that the new alliance will not help you. Tehran is warning Riyadh that the new agreement will not provide its security against the threats in the region. The United States is wearing down its weapons stockpiles in Iran. Russia and China are watching closely and helping the Iranians behind the scenes. The new front in our neighborhood is expanding. Yemen is launching an offensive against the Houthis, the terrorist organization in Yemen. And then, in the Gaza Strip, the road to nowhere. This is how the Hamas terrorist organization intends to remain armed.
That was Mike Huckabee. He's a piece of shit.
Even after the withdrawal. And in Lebanon, suspicion of an Iranian attempt to rescue Hezbollah terrorists. And are Turkey, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia planning a military move against Israel? I'm Yair Pinto, joined by Mati Shoshani, and we are boots on the ground. We bring you the full truth about what's happening in Israel and the truth about what's happening in our neighborhood, the Middle East. And today is August 9th. So let's begin. The uncertainty over how to interpret the redeployment of the United States military in the Gulf region while also moving closer to Israel is now leading Jerusalem to focus its efforts on destabilizing the regime in Tehran. And at the same time, contingency plans are being advanced in case Iran decides to continue its pursuit of nuclear capability. The Israeli Air Force is preparing for the possibility of unilateral strikes against Iran if the conflict between Washington and Tehran ends without a real solution. The tension in the Gulf is also sending a clear message to the United Arab Emirates, which announced today that Iran has resumed fire against it and struck a ship in the area of the Strait of Hormuz. The attack took place precisely as negotiations between Iran and Oman over the control of the strait appeared to be progressing. And just as it seems that an agreement on reopening the passage was around the corner, Riyadh is expanding its security and strategic ties with Turkey, Pakistan, and the United States. And at the same time, it is holding dialogue with Iran and hardening its position on the Palestinian issue. And what does this mean for Israel? Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan have signed a joint defensive agreement. The signing of this trilateral defensive agreement adds a new layer to the map of alliances in the Middle East. According to reports, this is effectively an expansion of the defensive agreement signed between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan in September 2025, with Turkey now joining as well. So according to the statements that are accompanying the move, an attack against one of the three countries will be considered an attack against all of them. The agreement immediately raises a series of questions. Is this the foundation of a new Muslim NATO? Is it meant to balance Iran or Israel? And how really will Riyadh, Ankara, and Islamabad rally to stand together when the price is military and not just declarations? So the ongoing confrontation between Saudi Arabia and the Houthis is already providing the first test. The question is whether attacks on Saudi Arabia will lead to meaningful Turkish or Pakistani involvement, or whether the mutual commitment will remain mainly at the political level. Centronovich points to an even more sensitive scenario, a situation in which Iran responds to an American strike by attacking Saudi oil infrastructure.
That dude is hard to fucking watch. Let's see what this dumbass Dave's got to say. I haven't checked in on him in a couple of days. Oh, hell, you talking about explosions in the Middle East. What's fucking new? That place is being burning down.
August 9th. All information is up to date as of August 9th, and we have major news as explosions are ripping through the Middle East. Saudi Arabia hit incredibly hard. Saudi Arabia's oil infrastructure has been targeted, and this might have a major impact on global oil prices and supply. On top of that, we have fighter jets scrambling and many more updates to get to with the war, including Israel might go back in against Iran alone without U.S. support. So we're going to break it all down. Before we do, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys absolutely nothing at all. Huge boost to the channel. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Comment if you want to see us drop more bombs. Comment if you think we should get out and come home. Just get active in the comments. Hit the notification bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. And then Instagram, David_Hookstead, XD Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open, or reach out with whatever you got. Now let's get into it. So right here to start things, sources to the, I believe it's pronounced Anadolu agency, loud explosions and fires in Saudi Arabia's Jubail industry city amid reports that gas facilities in the region have been targeted. So we know that the Houthis, the Iranian-backed militias, and Iran outright have repeatedly targeted Saudi Arabia and repeatedly targeted Saudi Arabia's airports and oil infrastructure. Now, overnight into the morning hours of August 9th, Saudi Arabia coming under heavy attack specifically against its oil infrastructures, and that is a major problem. And then right here,
bro, they all are fucking run. And why? They let them people come over here tax free. And then when they have to go back, instead of selling a store back to somebody, they just transfer somebody in their family. That's just fucking crazy. All the stores, these little country stores that are way out by me, that has always been run by mom and pops, now are fucking run by them. I would have never fucking thought that. And back in the 90s, when they first started coming in, it was weird because all them stores smelled the same. Have you ever noticed that? Every one of them smelled the fucking same, like sour ass.
It says fire reported in the eastern city of Jubail this morning after a gas facility was targeted. NASA firms has detected an unusual fire at Saudi Aramco's Berry gas plant. So multiple oil and gas facilities have been bombed, have been hit, likely by the Houthis and Iranian-backed proxies in the region. And then right here, you can see more and more. The date is wrong here. It says July 26th, but this is actually from today. This is more and more smoke in the air coming up as of this morning from the Saudi oil facility as it continues to burn. And then right here, the Houthis in Yemen have struck the Berry gas plant in Saudi Arabia, located just north of Bahrain. You can see the fire right there. Massive explosions in Saudi Arabia. And the question now is largely, when will Saudi Arabia strike back? When will Saudi Arabia go in and drop bombs against the Iranian proxies, against the Houthis, against...
Hey, go in there next time you're in there and say, man, what is that smell? And they'll be like, oh, smell good. Like, no, motherfucker.
Iran proper. We know Saudi Arabia bombed some of the militias, the Iranian-backed militias, the PMF specifically, in Iraq with the United States a few weeks back. It seems likely that could happen again. So this is a look at the map saying notably Saudi energy facilities at Al Jubail are some of the closest to the Iranian-backed militias in Iraq. So just 256 miles from the Iraqi border to where one of the sites was hit and hit incredibly hard. And then right here, there are also attacks underway in Yemen with, this is the Mocha International Port, showing a plume of smoke following a Houthi missile and drone attack. So you can see the smoke right there on your screen as the fighting continues to intensify. And then right here, the United States Air Force scrambling fighter jets as the attacks unfolded over Masan and Baghdad, likely hunting the drones and hunting the Iranian-backed militia groups. So we're drone hunting. We're hunting them on the ground. Why are we doing this? We're trying to stop the missiles and drones from even getting anywhere near any of this critical oil and energy infrastructure. Do not forget, Saudi Arabia's oil industry, whether you like Saudi Arabia or not, their oil industry is the most important asset in the entire Middle East. by far, it is not close. It is a financial gold. If their oil goes offline, you will see oil prices absolutely skyrocket. So we have to protect those oil fields, and now they're being hit by the Iranian-backed militias, and they're being hit by the Houthis. So Iran continuing to force its proxy groups, or not force, but push its proxy groups to conduct attacks against critical infrastructure. Now, this is a shocking report from the Wall Street Journal. I hope it is not true, but the Wall Street Journal reporting Trump would extend fire indefinitely if Iran's nuclear program stays in check and the Strait of Hormuz reopens traffic. Reopens traffic, American officials say. Fully reopening the strait would also lift the U.S. blockades on ports. So we right now, according to this report, all we're asking now, again, and take this with a grain of salt, but this is a major outlet, a major report. I have not independently verified or confirmed this. All we are asking now is reopen the strait, and that'll be good enough for us, which goes to show the strait is actually closed, despite what people might say. You know, we have people saying, no, the strait is completely open, everything's fine. Well, if the strait was completely open, why would we make it the main point of negotiations? Speaking of negotiations, Iran says there are no negotiations. Iran's foreign minister, there are no direct talks with the United States. The only communication is through intermediaries. Iran says negotiations cannot resume unless the U.S. stops violating the Memorandum of Understanding and compensates Tehran for those violations. So Iran making it clear we are not talking with the United States. We do not want to talk with the United States. We think we have all the cards. I'm not saying they do, but that is the Iranian position. Iran believes they hold all the cards, and thus they get to dictate the terms of negotiations. And right now, their terms are there will be no negotiations. We know Iran is negotiating with Oman, but that's totally different. That is for their regulation of the Strait of Hormuz. So not a good update. And that brings me to this. According to Israel's Channel 13, the Israeli Defense Force is preparing for the possibility of resuming independent strikes against Iran without the approval or support of the United States. So as it looks like the United States is turning down the temperature, not eager to strike, now we are hearing a report that the Israelis might go in independently and strike Iran if they deem that to be the best option in their interest. Now, here's the problem with that. Israel depends on the United States for long-range logistics, refueling capabilities, and air defense. We've talked a lot about how many munitions we got left. We've talked a lot about our air defense situation. Israel's air defense situation is significantly worse than what we're dealing with.
Oh, no doubt.
They are
no doubt, no drama. But we're definitely in for a fight. America is never going to let Israel just Iran by themselves. Now, they may pull out publicly, but they're going to support Israel to the fucking fullest. And anybody that believes in it, that, you know, Trump's just not, he's just going to sit back and not do something, don't know Trump too well. He's just trying to outsmart these motherfuckers.
Down to the last of their long-range and highly advanced interceptors. There have been reports about this going back to essentially the first few weeks of the war. That would mean the United States, even if not attacking Iran, would be the only country on the planet capable of knocking down the missiles coming in from Iran at Israel, which would inevitably drag us back to a full state of fight. So I would be very careful in believing Israel is actually going to go in this alone. They don't have the air defense systems to stop what would be the retaliatory strikes of Iran. They would need us to do it. And if we're not going to do it, hard to imagine Israel is going to get back in the fighting. Now, very interesting. I'm going to scroll down here. So this video was published today, late yesterday, claiming to show the Supreme Leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, is alive. Now, I've said for many times that there's no proof that he is alive. And then right here, we have a fact-check, misleading proof of life. RT and other outlets presented footage released on August 8th as rare images of Mojtaba Khamenei, but the same undated classroom video was already broadcast on March 19th, 20th. So right there, again, there's just no proof this guy is alive. And everything we see,
he's gone. He's only wiped out.
Adds to the suspicion that he is either severely wounded and incapacitated, or he's actually dead, and they've been covering it up. And then right here, the UAE confirmed, while there's not supposed to be any shooting going on, the UAE has now confirmed what I made my video about late yesterday afternoon, that yes, indeed, one of their ships was bombed by Iran. And then right here, the Pentagon is now giving defense contractors.
Pimp, is that what you talking about? Is that what you talking about, Pimp? Look at him. He got the $2 only. Huh? Jesus Christ. He been up all night long, man, coming up with a plan. He been up all night long. He's tired, man. He's fucking tired. Y'all cut him some slack, man. I done hid the point grinds. All he could get now was the hot fries. Oh shit! I didn't take that down before I fucking got out of there. Ow, ow, ow. Let me take that shit down. I gotta quit fucking clowning, man. He gonna be mad at me. He's already saying my boat's junk and shit. Come on, Cashville. You know my boat ain't junk. You just jealous. All right, let me move that. There we go. All right, back to what we was talking about.
21 days to come up with ways to dramatically accelerate weapons production as the Iran war continues to eat through U.S. stockpiles. Deputy Defense Secretary Steve Feinberg directed industry to propose faster delivery schedules, increased production, and investments in new manufacturing capabilities. The scale of depletion is significant. The Pentagon says the U.S. has expended more than 850 Tomahawks, 1,000 Patriot THAAD interceptors, and 1,300 tactical ballistic missiles in the early stages of the war. So the Pentagon is telling people, we got to build more missiles, and we have to build them faster. Now, this is very, very interesting.
Bro, that's a brand new motherfucking motor on the back and on the front. It's got a fucking $1,800 trolling motor on the front. He don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Says Russian state nuclear energy company Rosatom is bringing its scientists back to Iran's Bashir nuclear power plant, according to Tasnim, citing the CMO. Rosatom's CEO announced that 5 specialists recently returned, bringing the current total to 25, with plans to increase Russian workforce on site to 100 by this autumn. So the Russians are flooding in their nuke experts. These are the people traveling on the planes we're tracking. The unidentified planes coming in from Russia. We got them also coming in from China. That is who's on these planes. So they are rushing nuke specialists into Iran to help Iran advance their program as fast as they can as the war continues. So if there was any doubt that Russia is helping Iran, it should be over officially. And then lastly, Iraqi forces dismantled a 3-person militia cell and 3-person militia link cell and seized 12 Iranian-made drones and components. The cell was allegedly preparing drone attacks outside Iraq and had links to Iranian operatives. The drones have been identified as Shahed 101s, reportedly intended for strikes on Saudi Arabia. So now I'm going to pull this off the screen. So as of me filming this on August 9th, we have more explosions ripping through the Middle East at this hour. We have fighter jets in the air, and Iran says there will be no more negotiations. As always, I will continue to monitor the situation.
Here's the thing.
Let me know all your
believe before Trump lets them motherfuckers do anything like that, he'll wipe them off the map. And it won't fucking matter.
Thoughts in the comments below. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later with more updates.
See what
Whoa, this car lift is actually pretty sick. Yeah, I just got it on Temu. Guess how much it was? No way. Like $1,000? Not even close. This thing lifts up to 6,600 pounds and raises your car up to 21.7 inches.
We do want to transition now to some other top headlines that we have been following here this week. And as you remember, we brought this to you live as it was unfolding. But on Thursday, a Senate committee voted along party lines to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress over his refusal to answer questions at a hearing on his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
They tried to tell him he didn't have no fucking constitutional rights when it came to that. They tried to tell him. I hope they fuck Fauci up, to be honest with you. He done a lot of fucking damage to the world, man. There's people I love that ain't here no more over that shit. I'm sure y'all got them too. You know, everybody was affected by this dumb motherfucker.
Setting up a referral to the Justice Department for potential investigation over whether Fauci properly exercised his constitutional rights. A department spokesperson confirmed Thursday evening that the department has received the contempt referral and is, quote, reviewing it and will work with the Senate accordingly. Just for some more context here, as we're watching some video from earlier this week, the vote approving the contempt resolution came a week after Fauci invoked his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination more than 100 times when he appeared before the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs. I just wanted to share here a statement with you from Fauci as he explained last week his decision to invoke his Fifth Amendment rights. And he said he had good reason to fear the possibility of criminal charges, given what he said was Senator Rand Paul's determination to, quote, get me to say something, anything that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars, unquote. A lot to discuss here. What comes next? To break it all down for us is Dan Marjovsky. He is an attorney and partner at Sam & Ash. Thank you so much for joining us here this morning, Sam. We really appreciate it.
Great to be with you. Happy Sunday.
Yes, a happy Sunday. And our viewers always tend to write in questions here to us. And I actually wanted to start off with this viewer question.
To start with, right? And then he knew that the shit, he was sick his fucking self from taking a jab. And he failed to report the findings on it. He just let everybody keep taking that shit, knowing good and well it wasn't effective. That's what's going to fuck him up. Not so much about the shit with the disease itself or whatever it was. I'm scared to say most shit because fuck, I've done got in trouble for saying shit on here. I know you're supposed to be able to say it now, but the fact that he knew for a fact that the shit wasn't working and he continued to push the shit and hid his own results. Because he was fucked up and like the guy sick off of it. Yeah, me too, Dawn. Me too. He knew it didn't work. Exactly, Deb. He knew it didn't.
I got this on my Facebook page. This is a question saying, how can someone be held in contempt of Congress when our Constitution says a person has the right to plead the Fifth Amendment? Could you just explain for us what exactly the Constitution says, Sam?
Well, it's pretty clear. You cannot be compelled to give testimony that would put you in a materially different position in relation to a future criminal prosecution, right? You can't literally testify against yourself and be forced to give evidence that could be used against you in a court of law. So the analysis, of course, here with Dr. Fauci and the testimony that he gave last week is that he didn't answer any question. Right. I mean, people are pointing out that he didn't answer a single question. He was asked about his tie color. He was asked questions that had nothing to do with his criminal culpability. And he flatly, refused to answer every single question he was asked. So, that, of course, is obstructive behavior. Now, whether it falls to grounds for a criminal contempt of Congress, the law splits on that. There's some cases that demand materiality, that their answer really, a refusal to answer on an immaterial question is not relevant. But the bigger issue, and I think this is where Fauci has a little bit of an advantage, unfortunately, is that he still, although he has a pardon, right? He has a pardon he got the Biden legal vaccine that preemptively shields him from any federal prosecution. But that's federal. And, big news in the last 24 hours, there are a number of states banding together where the AGs have decided, including Florida, to open inquiries into Fauci. Based on the evidence that was revealed by Rand Paul, he could be prosecuted at the state level.
And he should be.
And that means that he still would, even though he's got the pardon in place, I think have legitimate grounds to not testify and to invoke the Fifth Amendment privilege to prevent himself from testifying because he faces, potentially criminal prosecution in other jurisdictions.
You raised several good points, and I want to get back to some of those here in just a moment. But just my next question here, kind of looking forward, now that this contempt referral has gone to the Justice Department, what comes next? Can you lay the groundwork of what that process is going to look like, and if there's really a timeline at this point?
Pimp, I'm going to tell you right now, they get him in state prison, he will not survive. They cannot protect him enough unless they keep him in solitary confinement the whole time. Because there's so many people that was affected by that shit. For one, they'll extort him. For two, they'll fuck him to death. And for three, they'll beat him to death. What's up there, Asmic? How you doing, sir? We just bullshitting, hanging out, man.
Well, there isn't, right? It's going to go to the DOJ. The DOJ needs to review this. Remember, one thing procedurally, Rand Paul skipped full approval in the Senate chamber. And there's a section of the U.S. Code, Section 194, that requires certification of these criminal referrals in order for them to be immediately actionable by the Department of Justice. So here, this really is a letter. It's literally a letter going from a committee. I'm not saying it's without any power. I'm just saying that statutorily, there isn't a self-affecting mechanism there that would propel it forward. So I don't really know how long it could sit or not. I imagine that the Trump administration has some appetite to go after Fauci. There's some motivation there, and I think it would be something that the base would welcome. But on the other hand, they've got a lot of fish to fry over at the DOJ, and this to me, Fauci just has so many defenses that I think internally the Department of Justice, I expect, is going to take a little bit of time before they do anything.
And something I wanted to ask you about, Sam, I had said this before I brought you in here, but Dr. Fauci, he says he feared potential criminal charges and that the questioning was aimed at getting him to say something that could put him behind bars. Does that argument factor into whether this Fifth Amendment claim was valid?
Well, that honestly, when Fauci said that, might have been a little bit of a slip of the tongue. I am certain if I was his lawyer, I would tell him to do exactly what he did. And the reason being is that while he has a federal pardon from Biden from all prior criminal acts, and that covers the period of COVID, covers all.
Yeah, but he wasn't charged with anything. A fucking pardon don't, unless I'm missing something, a pardon doesn't do any good unless you've been charged with a crime. You don't just get a blanket pardon for everything that you fucking done. There's got to be some kind of crime committed, right? He wasn't charged with. Am I missing something?
All of the, most of the questions that were asked by the committee of him, if he lies under oath, and they've got all this documentation, they've got his journals, they've got everything, emails, the whole kit and caboodle. And if he contradicts it in any way, well, now you're facing a perjury charge, right? And that's a new criminal infraction, and it wouldn't be covered under the pardon. The real risk was that he either misremembers or tries to put himself in a good light. We know he's a talker, he's a glib guy. So he, the likelihood that he would have gone off the rails and started, maybe even making things up or filling in voids was real. And so his lawyers said, don't answer anything, because that's your greatest risk is saying something that would later get you a real perjury charge.
And you touched on this just a moment ago, but talking about criminal charges, our viewers also...
You know what? As far as a lawyer goes, I don't know how anybody would want to defend that dude right there. All the people that were hurt or fucking their lives changed behind that shit. How do you defend that and sleep at night? I don't fucking get it, man.
Asking, could Dr. Fauci face criminal charges over this refusal to answer questions? I think that's a really big question our viewers have. Could you just dive into that a bit deeper for us?
The analysis, honestly, is very simple. Okay. He has, in my opinion, and it's, I'm not a fan of his, but I'm just telling you, he's got grounds to invoke his Fifth Amendment privilege. Now, so when it comes to matters of past conduct, he does, because he faces potential criminal prosecution at the state level perhaps in Florida, perhaps in Oklahoma and elsewhere, right? Texas and the like. So he does have that right. Where I think people are and have rightly focused is that Fauci had a number of times where he just refused to answer any question. And it was this great moment where he got asked about the tie, or he got asked about what the Constitution, and got asked about it, the day. I mean, it was absurd. And he refused to answer those questions because, again, he'd been programmed by his lawyer. And, there is, and this is important when it comes to obstruction and when it comes to contempt, the refusal to answer questions that are not material to the inquiry really can't fall under that broad of a, the focus on criminal conduct. This just is a bridge too far. So I don't think he's going to get prosecuted for refusing to answer the color of his tie. And I don't think I don't think he'll be convicted in a court of law of refusing to answer questions that could have incriminated him in other jurisdictions.
So going off of that and just looking forward, I just want to reiterate here what I read when I brought you in, that we heard from a department spokesperson confirming on Thursday that the department has received the contempt referral and, quote, is reviewing it and will work with the Senate accordingly. My question to you, Sam, is there a world, or what would happen if the Justice Department decides not to pursue the contempt referral? And let's just imagine that for a second. And does Congress have any other options?
Well, I want to focus on something that I think the Congress has already done the most important thing here, which is they used their subpoena power to get at all of this evidence, right? These journals, these emails. I mean, we have today a much broader idea of what it was that Fauci was up to. And I've been, I live in the real world, and, I'm an attorney. And so I'm talking to other lawyers and people who are, fairly, sober about these things. And even people who once thought Fauci was a great guy, or at least a reasonably good guy, now don't. Now, why is this relevant? Because no matter what happens with the Department of Justice referral, this absolutely motivates states like Florida, states like Texas, and a few others that have come out and said, we're looking at Fauci. And I would be surprised if their own oversight attempts and investigations don't begin very quickly, okay, following all the release of all this information. And the second thing is, I think he's opened himself up potentially to some lawsuits. Now, there may be immunities and statute of limitations issues, but he's opened himself up to civil suits. And this is going to be very punitive for him. If you're feeling like he's going to get away with it if the DOJ doesn't take up the criminal referral, I think there's a whole can of worms here legally for Fauci that are not going to be good, and that are going to drain him of his time, his resources, and potentially even put him in a criminal trial down in Florida, which is not going to go well for him at all. So I think he's going to have a busy couple of years coming up.
Yeah, and so there's a lot to look at here going forward. And Sam, before we wrap up, I just want to ask, given your expertise, you touched on this just a little bit here, but what are you going to be looking for really over the coming days, weeks, or months as this continues to unfold?
Watch the states. This is to me, the most important thing, because the Biden pardon doesn't cover state charges. All right. So if remember, Fauci said things, he issued opinions, as a chief doctor of the country and the leader of the pandemic response. Governors and municipalities took that information and ruined people's lives with it. Okay. And so there is a fraud case here, and it depends on the state and how it'll be pled, but there are real criminal charges that can be levied against him. This is why he got the Biden pardon, right? They knew he was culpable in this mess.
Top,
so
how you doing, sir?
I'm watching what the states are going to do. I think if there's any real criminal accountability, it's going to happen there. And I wouldn't dismiss Rand Paul's, questioning and the committee's work here as some sort of political theater either, because that's the ground zero for getting all of this stuff out and putting it out there in the public, consciousness, and of course putting it in the hands of immediately into all of these state investigators that now can go after him.
And lastly, I mean, as we watch this precedent, right, that could be set for future congressional investigations and witnesses who invoke their Fifth Amendment right, is that something to also watch?
Well, it would be interesting to see if he actually is tried for contempt. The case, and is convicted, I'll add that, and is convicted, which are two big ifs, right? If Blanche takes the case, and then who are the jurors, right, in Washington, D.C.? I mean, the jury pool is very left of center at like 94, 95%. So these are people who are not likely to convict him. But if those two ifs happen, expect this case to go up to the Supreme Court, because there are some real constitutional questions. And I say that, I as much as I want to nail the guy,
yeah, me too.
I think
me too. He needs to be held accountable because he affected everybody around the fucking world. Nobody should ever fucking be able to get away with this shit. I survived on pork rind crumbs. Oh shit.
End of the day, when I look at it soberly as an attorney, I see a legitimate expression of privilege. And I think it's just maybe a bridge too far to have him be held in contempt at this point. I like that they've done it, forces the issue. I just don't think it's going to have a lot of legs.
All right, a lot of great insights there. Sam Mirejovsky, attorney, thank you so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox to break it all down for us this morning. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
My Blue Chew Gold just kicked in. Sir, that is always an immediate yes for me. My husband has been initiating
I bet you do like Blue Chew, y'all. Crazy bitch. Hey, let's watch this shit with Charlie.
Industry City amid reports that gas facilities in the region have been targeted. So we know that the Houthis, the Iranian-backed militias, and Iran outright have repeatedly targeted Saudi Arabia and repeatedly targeted Saudi Arabia's airports and oil infrastructure. Now, overnight into the morning hours of August 9th, Saudi Arabia coming under heavy attack specifically against its oil infrastructures, and that is a major problem. And then right here, it says fire reported in the eastern city of Jubail this morning after a gas facility was targeted. NASA firms has detected an unusual fire at Saudi Aramco's Berry gas plant. So multiple oil and gas facilities
I didn't even
have
know
been bombed,
I had to ask Rusty and Rich one night. I was like, what the fuck are them Blue Chews? All right, I had to let this dumbass dog in. Let me go back through my history. I know we watched this one already. We'll watch this other one about Russia. Damn. I made it.
Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. I'm filming this on
I got 7 kids. I ain't never needed no Blue Chew.
August 8th. All information is up to date as of August 8th. And we have major news as Iran has bombed another ship in the Strait of Hormuz, despite President Donald Trump opening a window for peace negotiations or some kind of ceasefire deal. The Iranians outright rejecting it and now unloading more missiles at ships. On top of that, we have a mysterious aircraft that was spotted on radar before disappearing, and many more updates with the status of the war as it remains a fluid situation. Before we get into it, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free.
Let me tell you something. Iran keeps fucking around. I think Trump will fucking drop the fucking ball on their ass. That big one.
Cost you guys absolutely nothing at all. Huge boost to the channel. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Comment if you want to see us bomb them more. Comment if you think a peace deal is the best way forward. Just get active in the comments. Hit the notification bell. All notifications on. You won't miss a thing. And then Instagram, David_Hookstead, XD Hookstead. My DMs are wide open. If you have a tip or you just want to say hello, reach out to me there. And for now, we continue to rock my brand new Camp David hat. Now, let's get into it. So I'm going to start by putting this up on the screen. It says the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations Center has issued an advisory after receiving a report that a vessel transiting the Strait of Hormuz was struck, resulting in a fire approximately 18 miles east of Kasab, Oman, late yesterday, depending on where you are in the world. Technically could be the morning of August 8th, but this news is just now breaking. So right now we have a situation.
You think so,
where Iran is saying, if you don't pay us the money and you don't use our waterway.
Hey, I'm liable to lose power. It is fucking blowing out here, but dude, Alex is usually pretty fucking right, man. It's scary ass times right now. The world is fucking acting up, man. But what was we talking about yesterday? When the world gets so smart, God said he's gonna come back. I know not a lot of people are religious, but if you go by that book, and like I'm going to tell you, I ain't never seen that book lie.
In and out. If you go through the U.S. Omani route, we will blow you up.
Definitely not.
The United States of America has attempted.
That's what I was saying when I first started, man. The live today, people are not paying attention. The job loss is significant in this country right now. The water tables are lower than they've ever been, reportedly. Somebody had actually pointed it out in the comments. I went and looked myself. I was like, oh shit, they're right. The fuel reserves are lower than they've ever been, ever since like World War II, I think. And prices up. People are not working. It's just not a good thing, man. People are going fucking nuts.
Whether right, wrong, or indifferent, to find an off-ramp. I have routinely said there will be no satisfactory conclusion other than simply defeating the IRGC, because the IRGC does not want a deal. They want to continue fighting. They want as much power as possible. They want to complete control of the Strait of Hormuz. And they have said, and they have done, we will blow up ships if you do not comply with our demands. You can't negotiate with people like that. So even though President Trump has said for the past several days, we're looking at a deal, we think we can negotiate some kind of peace deal. What does Iran then go and do? They go blow up another ship. They go bomb another tanker. This is quite clearly Iran's strategy. The people who might want to negotiate have no real power in the country. They have no power whatsoever. The IRGC is in complete control. And the IRGC has made it crystal clear the only course of action they are interested in.
I ain't even admit this, right? But it's gotten so scary out there that I've been buying them 1 pound bags of fucking tobacco offline. Not to smoke right now, but I smoke. Unc smokes like a fucking freight train, and I'm not going to do without my cigarettes. But man, damn.
Is violence. That is why they continue to bomb ships. That is why they continue to terrorize targets in the Strait of Hormuz.